a little bit better handprint raccoon tracks. And hopefully the sound got picked up on camera. That was a red-winged blackbird. There's two of them fighting. They went tearing through here. Canada violet back there. And not much else. Another Japanese flowering crabapple here, I believe. Never been down this trail. Don't know how deep that water is. Guess I'm going to find out. Rarely works, but I managed to get this butterfly here that landed on the trail in front of me. He thinks I can't see him, but at any rate, this colorful guy, you see him everywhere. I forget the exact type, but he's a kind of mustard. You can kind of tell by the leaves and the way that the flowers and the seeds are. Something Brasiccea, it's related to cabbage, and mustards are usually edible. It even smells like mustard greens. Sort of peppery tasting. Not the best. But at any rate, moving on. All kinds of tracks here, but this big one here, I believe that's a heron. So it's got the toe pointing back here. A turkey would be about this size, and it would stop there and look like an arrow. There's a lot of little things here. Some of them are kind of walking over top of each other to make it hard. That's obviously deer there with the two. That looks like raccoon up there, probably. Raccoon or possum. And there's something smaller. Maybe skunk, I don't know. And there's a small bird over there. That was interesting trying to figure out what the tracks are. Sometimes they're too damaged to really know. At any rate, trying to get over to see what some of the trees are on the other side of this creek here. And right here we got a leaning sycamore that got undermined and fell down here, so I'll cross over here and see what I can find. Not sure which type that is, but I can recognize it by that reddishness in the leaves, and it has this smell like well, it's bergamot. It smells like Earl Grey tea. Bergamot's the flavoring in Earl Grey tea. It's related to mint, so some people might describe it as minty. Not sure. My guess would be it's either Dedema or fistulosa. Some people call it Beebalm, but it's both of those tend to grow along creeks, and I'm along a creek here. But moving on. Now here's something that people make mistakes about. These can be poisonous. These look like cattails, which are what I thought they were from a distance, but the bases of them, the cattail gets round at the bottom where it goes into the ground. These are still flat, so even with no parts above ground, these are irises. This close to civilization, probably the yellow irises that escaped. Iris pseudochorus, I think it is, but they might be the native blue flag. I just don't know. No idea. Both would grow in a wet habitat like this pretty well. But yeah, remember that. Flat near the base. Don't try eating it. Cattails too tend to always have their stalk with their hot dog looking seed clusters still on them. You know, you always got the old growth. The iris is not so much. They have seed pods, but the seed pods will fall over. Not sure if I can. Yeah, that's not telling me much. But yeah. At any rate, A bunch more of it over here growing on everything. Looks like some of it got uprooted with this tree here when it fell over. Big swampy area here. Hoping to find a blue crayfish, but so far I haven't seen any around here. At any rate, moving on. There's more of the hemlock growing right there. I wanted to show these guys. These guys are skunk cabbage. They grow a lot bigger later in the year, but you don't see any of the old flowers here. These guys must be young guys. But moving on this way. Can't remember exactly what these guys are. I want to say they're a native type of chickweed or something, but they do look nice. A little batch of them here. And going up that way, more of the mayapple. There's some here, but there's bigger ones up there. There's a fairly big buttercup here. The leaf's about an inch across. Or leaves, flower, about an inch across. So you can see mayapple as far as the eye can see along the hillside there. It's like some other type of mustard. Some sort of Brasiccea here. Tastes like a mustard. Has the 4-petaled flowers. It's one of the ways you can tell. I tasted it, but I wasn't going to actually swallow it because I'm not sure. I'm crazy, not stupid. At least that's what I keep telling them. Alright, moving on. Okay, this guy here's a box elder. He's just starting to get his leaves coming out. They have compound leaves. That's why they called them an elder or an ash. They got brittle wood for a member of the maple family. See, they got the little key type seeds that are still going right here. But farther out on this same tree, if you follow it up and over and down, out here you can kind of see the flowers on them. I like getting to see the flowers on trees. A lot of times they're too high up in the air for people to get a good look at them, but those are box elder flowers right there. I'll have to look this guy up. I want to say, man, looking at the foliage, I would have said he was a native geranium. He might be something domestic that went wild here, but pretty flowers at any rate growing on the side of the creek here. Well, different. Almost looks like something related to Dutchman's breeches or squirrel corn or something. But yeah, definitely interesting. And then there's another type of Trillium over here. Here comes the four-wheelers. Or no, that's just somebody out on the highway. But yeah, here, this is a trout lily. These are the variegated leaf Trillium here. And there's one there getting ready to flower. There's another one back there. And these guys look like, I want to say false Solomon seal coming up. But at any rate, let's see what else I can find here. Some sort of duck made tracks here. You can kind of see the toes and also the outline of the web right there. So that was a duck. You can see more duck tracks there. I kind of walked through them a little bit. Goose would be the same, just bigger. And you can kind of see it's facing towards me, the 3 toes here, and then that's the edge of the web. But moving downstream, just fish this guy out of the creek. Kind kind of big and not nearly as heavy as he looks. Kind of the weight you'd expect for a chunk of plastic or something that size. Very odd. Not sure what it is. My geology isn't quite up to snuff. And you're moving a little bit farther here. I'm surprised there's some deep holes here. I'm surprised there isn't more other stuff. You can kind of tell by the bark it's a little bit shreddy. And these leaves that are just coming out here have a lot of lobes to them, a lot of pointy lobes. This is a silver maple, and they tend to like it where it's swampy on the edge of stream banks, so makes sense he'd be here. Let me see the rest of them there. Got a little bit of glare, but at any rate, moving on. I lost sight of them, but somewhere in that tree there. Trying to. So there's a downy woodpecker over there somewhere. He's bitching up a storm a second ago. There he is. He's moving now. Hopefully you can see him. Always a little bit shaky when I zoom in too far here. But at any rate, Japanese knotweed moving in. See the little almost arrowhead shaped leaves, speckled hollow stalks. See, hollow. Kind of juicy. Supposedly you can eat it. Every time I've tried it tasted like ass. See where it had a million seeds on the hollow stalks up top there. Yeah, probably a couple years this whole bank will be full of them.